Along with Vishwamitra Maharshi, the Ramalakshmana crossed the Saryu River and entered the ghastly forest. Cruel beasts such as the lion, the tiger, the bear, and various snakes were present. And there was a dreadful darkness. Rama Lakshmana was intrigued. They are saints, why is there so much darkness in this forest? There are trees like Mati and Bilva. Whose ashram is here? He asked. Vishwamitra Munis then gave a special description of the place. In the past, Devendra killed Vratasasura, the world-class conqueror, and freed himself from the Brahmahathya era. The water fell here when Brahmadeva anointed Indra from the Ganges. From there the sinful land became a site of cruel demons. Previously, there were two kingdoms of Malaya and Kurusha. There is a demon called Tataki, the daughter of a demon named Suketu. She married a demon named Sunda and had two children, Maricha and Subahu. Together they have destroyed the cruel kingdom. The country is a terrible forest to destroy. Tataki is a savage demon who catches and eats passively. The Vishwa allies told Raman that if you kill her, the world will get better. Rama said, "Isn't murder a great sin? Is it okay to make this car from Asura clan?" he asked. Vishwamitra Maharshi is usually a murderous monster. But if you kill this mockingbird who is suffering from the world, you will not do anything wrong. Look, the grandkids are coming towards us. Tataki smells of humans. I got a good meal, and grabbed them and began to eat. Rama grabbed his Sagittarius and cut off the right hand of Tataki with an arrow. Tataki is the left hand. When he grabbed a sword from him, he practiced Brahmastra. When Tataki lost his hands and faced the mouth, Rama cut off Tataki's head from Narayanastra. Her children, Subahu and the Marics, rushed towards her when the head of the Tataki fell to the ground shouting in horror. But the Vishwa allies took Ramalakshmana towards the Siddhashrama. Vishwamitra wanted to destroy these demons first after completing the yaga. Vishwamitra of Siddhashrama showed beautiful flowers, trees, birds, animals, parrot cuckoos. When the cuckoos heard Veda, Ramalakshmana instinctively wanted to know about the place. Born as a son of Kashyapa's wife Aditi Devi, Srimanarayan was known as Vamana in the past. It was in this spot that Vamana tore away the pride of the Bali emperor and threw him into the abyss. He handed over all the land to Indra. We have got this forest from Indra. Vishwamitra Muni collected all the necessary items for the yaga. He invited many sages to build different yoga schools and perform yajna. After establishing a desperate fire for sacrifice, he continued the sacrifice. For 4 days, the yajna took place without any problems. Knowing that Vishwamitra started Maharishi Yaga, Maricha and Subahu arrived in the sky and began to disturb as usual. Vishwamitra had already warned the demons to come. Vishwamitra was silent while Yaga was initiated. Rama Lakshmana kept watch over Sagittarius day and night. The yaga would last for 6 days. Kamoda became a poet in the sky. Blood was poured into the Yajna Kunda. The angels who were receiving the part of the world began to give trouble. The sage was beginning to feel anxious as the Maricha Subahu's gaze increased in the sky. They left their poems and looked at everyone. Lord Rama built hundreds of arrows on a yoga school and stopped the bleeding. Subahu marries the Ramalakshmans and rushes towards them. Many of the demons were dead when the Ramalakshmans got rain of arrows. Marich saw the boy's plight and asked who he could be. When Subahu kissed Rama, Rama cut off his head with a nervous grin. Maricha saw Subahu dead from Rama's astra and came to Rama in disguise. Prince, these demons are bothering me. Protect me. Vishwamitra Maharishi then, this penance is not a true penance. Being a magic, fly his head out of the cellar. No one of our clan has killed Brahmins. How do I kill a Brahmin? He flew into the South Seas near the town of Lanka when he flew Maricha with the airship. Then the Vishwamitra Yaga was completed without the demonization of the demons. Satisfied rishis praised Lord Rama who killed Tataki and Subahu. When the Vishwamitra Yaga ends with a song, Rama, you still have to do a poem. 66 you will succeed in it, he said. With that intention, Gautam was ready to leave the area where the sage was. As per Vishwamitra's wishes, the Ramalakshmana set out towards the Gautam Rishi ashram. When approaching the Ganges, Vishwamitra recounted the detailed story of Bhagirath's bringing Ganga to the earth since the king of the Sagar initiated the yaga. Why did Ramalakshmani get enmity with gods and demons? Aren't they all children of Kashyapa Maharishi? Deities children giants and Aditi's children angels. Vishwamitra Maharshi informed Dityaditi, the wives of Kashyapa Muni, that the gods and demons together crossed the Milky Way to obtain the Amrita. The giants were immortal, deciding not to die and die. Srimanarayan was the basis for the maturation of Mandara as Kurman. As a siren he distributed Amrita to the gods only. Vishwamitra told Ramalakshmana that hatred of demons against the goddesses began and lasted forever. The Vishwamitra wanted to take Ramalakshman to Mittilanagar, the capital of the Videha state. On his way, Sumati, the king of the vast city, received the guest of honor. A quiet and beautiful place came when the journey began. But there was no monastery. Lord Rama, there is no one here. Whose ashram is this? He asked. Then Vishwamitra began to narrate the story of Gautam sage and Ahalya. Previously Gautam Rishis had lived here with his wife Ahilya. Devendra, who was seduced into the form of the Ahalya, the beautiful Anandame, came to the ashram while the Gautam was absent. When Gautam went to bathe in the morning, Devendra, who came in the guise of Gautam, quickly drove away from the ashram with Ahalya. But Gautam, who had come to the ashram soon after, did not spend the night. Unaware of the wisdom of the time, her husband said to Ahalya, "You shall find no one in this monastery, and you shall curse yourself with water without rice." The fleeting eroticism became a stone. Then the sages of Gautam departed to apologize. Rama, Ahalya is no longer a stone, she is repenting for her wrongdoing. And when she enters the ashram that her curse will be forgiven by her arrival. Ahalya, who was stoned by Rama, regained her former form. Sri Rama Lakshmana bowed to Ahilya's feet. Rama, who had avoided the curse of Ahalya, was spread by the Gautam Maharshi who had already arrived. Ali comforted her when Gautam was on her feet. Vishwamitra Maharishi, who received the treat at Gautama's ashram, was cursed by Ahalya's mistake. He said that such a terrible act can be lost by penance. Vishwamitra Maharishi was invited by the king of Mithila city, Sitisa Vayamvara. Vishwamitra had decided to take Rama Lakshmana to Mithil, who had come to guard the yoga of the ashram. Now Ahalya continued his journey towards Mittilanagar after Uddhava. Rama Lakshmana also joined the town of Mithila with Vishwamitra, who left the Gautam ashram. In the city of Mithila, the capital of the state of Videha, a king named Siradvaja was ruling. Krisvaroman, son of a golden Roma, was king. The first king of this dynasty was named Mithi, Videha, Janaka, and was known to all kings as Janaka. Sunain, the wife of Janaka Raja, son of Harsvaroman, had two daughters, Sita and Urmili. Janaka Raja's daughter Kushadhajani had two children, Mandavi and Shrutiketi. Kushadhvaja ruled in the Sakshya city on the banks of the Ikshumati River. Janaka Raja started a great yajna and became a Yajna Yakshakita. Rishis came from many countries. The city was filled with saints, princes, foreigners and citizens. Vishwamitra Maharishi chose a place away from the crowds and left with Rama Lakshmana. Upon learning of Brahmarshi Vishwamitra's arrival at Mithil, Janaka Raja accompanied Shutananda, the priest, to Vishwamitra's cottage and requested a reception. Then Janaka Raja, who was brought to the palace and honored, said, "Vishwamitra Maharishi, Mithil was sanctified by their arrival." He was happy. Who are these Rajput sons, Ashwani sons? Tejasvis, young, well-mannered, sitting like a lion cub. Vishwamitra introduced Ramalakshmana to Janaka, who asked him, "Rajarshi Janaka, the children of Dasharatha, the king of Ayodhya, I brought to the ashram to protect my pilgrimage. He is already credited with killing Tataki, a demon named Subahu. He revived the goddess Ahalai, who was a stone, and introduced him as Vishwamitra Maharishi, Rama's brother. Gautam Rishi's son, Shatananda Maharshi, who was aware of the Ahalai, human awakening, saluted his mother and saluted Rama and saluted Vishwamitra. Dhanananda was delighted to hear that her long-suffering mother, Ahalya, had been stretched. "Rama, you are blessed, you have the blessings of Brahmarshi Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra are not ordinary, are great ascetics. show what is impossible with male effort. Vishwamitra described the former as king in the penance that was lost by the Vashishtas and became Brahmashish. Hearing the story of Vishwamitra's adventures, Ramalakshmana was even more revered by the Guru. Ramalakshmana saluted Vishwamitra as he began to treat the Guru who had already conveyed many things. At the Janaka Raja palace in Mittilanagar, Ramalakshmana had good arguments and honors. Janaka Maharaja narrated the story of Sivadhanasi to Rama Lakshmana who followed Vishwamitra. Shivdhanasa was formerly the goddess sculptor Vishwakarma. He built the Su. Lord Shiva used this Dhanus during the killing of Tarakasura's children. The children of Tarakasura were called Tripuras. Lord Shiva, who killed him, came to be known as Tripurari. Dhanusi, which Lord Shiva used at that time, was called Sunabha. Shiva married Dakshayani, daughter of Daksha. Daksha Brahman insulted Ishwar and started Yaga without Ishwar. Dakshaya expresses her anger at her father who abused her husband, one of the trio. Then she learned about Shiva and jumped into the fire and gave up her life. Shiva was enraged by Dakshika's death and decided to burn the whole world in a hurry. The gods asked Ishwar not to do so. Lord Shiva gave the goddess this ritual and sent Virabhadra to destroy the Daksha Yaga. While Sunabha Dhanusu is near the deities, Devarata is a descendant devotees loved by the sacrificial offer of the sacrificial offering. Sivadhanasu is thus in us. No one tried to scare it. Janaka Maharaja betrayed his daughter Sita and threatened to use this arrow and threatened to use an arrow. Sivadhanasu was thus unique. Janaka Maharaja showed Sivadhanasu how they got it. Told him, he who makes his daughter Sita fear the Sagittarius I wanted to bet. No one has ever seen this, Ka said. Thinking that Sivadhanas could scare him when he saw Rama, Janaka told him the news. Prince of Ayodhya, I have had no children for a long time. When a sacrifice was started, a child got a piece of land as part of it. Then the little girl was named Sita and was affectionately loved. I was afraid that the one who would make her beautiful would be afraid of the Sivadhanas who had me and wanted to use an arrow. But many tried for many days. Yet the gods and demons, the Gandhara and the kings have also lost. You children of Dasharatha, try. King Janaka said that I would be very happy if Shiva married Dhanus and married Sita. When Ramalakshmana did not know what to do, he encouraged the gurus to see the Vishwamitra. At that meeting Sri Rama decided to make an attempt to intimidate Sivadhanas.